Other than power washing, what can a homeowner do to preserve the life of their deck?
Stay off it.
Tosh Show. Tosh Show. Tosh Show for show. Welcome to Tosh Show. I'm your host, Daniel Tosh. We are here in Malibu, California. And I know everybody likes to always talk about how crazy they think the people of Malibu are, but I've got some news. This is definitely a sign that people here in Malibu are not as crazy as I once thought they were. Because I was confused when I first moved here, and I found not one, but two large crystal shops very close to each other. You know, you see two Starbucks next to each other, and you're like, oh my goodness, it's so ridiculous. Yeah, but apparently that business model can handle that type of saturation. I don't know, but when I saw two crystal shops very close to each other, I was so confused. I mean, if I saw one crystal shop, I'm like, oh, of course, these idiots are buying crystals and they can afford to have good storefront location in Malibu. Well, anyway, both of them have gone out of business.
It's big. Huh? Wow. Good job,
That's good.
guys.
Now you're saying, oh, you're applauding a company failing? Yeah, I am. Because it's a stupid business. Guess what opened up in one of the locations? My favorite car wash guy. He turned one of it into a detail shop. Yeah, it's like a little building, and now it used to be crystals, and now it's his car wash spot, and I'm gonna use them constantly. I couldn't be happier. I told him, I go, the place looks so much better now that there's not dumb crystals. I mean, these weren't like crystals, like small crystals. These were crystals that were huge, that they have to get craned in, and they cost like millions of dollars.
Massive.
I'm just like, what dumb fuck is spending money on this?
You know they're a waste of money because they leave them outside and no one steals them.
Right. There's $5 million crystals being left outside. Well, whatever. They're out of business. Good riddance, I say. And, support the new car wash. Probably have him on the show soon. I think we have time this week to do my favorite segment, Dear Tosh Show. That's where our subscribers write to me their problems, and I fix everything. All right, Eddie, let it rip.
My wife wants to start watching sports with me so we can spend more time together. How do I not let this happen? Should I just stop watching sports before she ruins them for me?
I like where his head's at. I dated a girl once that really loved sports and knew everything about it, and I was miserable the whole time. Like, I can't do this. He's right. Now, should he stop watching sports? No. Here's what he has to do. In the world of unlimited DVR storage and hide score technology on all the apps, you have to go into your preferences. You got to change your Apple TV so that it doesn't ever put any little icon up in the corner, close game between Miami and Charlotte. You got to get rid of all that. And he needs to just start watching all of his sports after she goes to bed. And I know what you're saying. That's porn time. No. That's got to get pushed even later.
Brilliant.
Okay? So he's got to block off. And the good news is you're going to watch it alone, peacefully, and you're going to cut the time, in half. Especially if it's a bad game, you can really start jumping ahead. So yeah, you're going to watch your sports after she goes to bed, then your pornography, and then go to bed.
It's a brilliant idea.
Well, listen, that's why I do the segment.
My girlfriend always leaves her phone unlocked. When she does this, is it okay to read her text messages? And if that's okay, is it then okay to text people horrible messages from her?
All right, the short answer, yes. But there is some layers to this. I used to always take my wife's phone back when we were dating, way before children, and I would fire off horrible things from her phone. And then eventually her friend groups, like, oh, okay, this isn't Carly. But I mean, I would start normal, and then I would just get it like ridiculous. Like, hey, I think we should do this. And hey, girls, send me photos of what underwear you're wearing right now. I'm just curious. Yeah, stuff like that. Innocent stuff. Anyway. But now that we have kids, I don't do that. It's too much. But the second thing about reading your wife's text, if you're lying in wait, then it's wrong. If you're trying to, but if you're just bored and you want to read, it's way more fun to read your wife's text than your own.
I'd agree.
So yeah, I think it's fine. And who cares if it's unlocked? You don't know their code? I know my wife's code.
You trust.
Now, these problems are easy. This is why I do the segment, to spread my vast knowledge. Now, I don't know everything. If you were to ask me a question about what type of wood is going to age the best in a certain climate, I'd be at a loss. But I know who I'd call. The Deck Doctor. Enjoy. Tosh Show. My guest today is known as the Malibu Deck Doctor, which means if you want him to build you a new deck, but you live in Santa Monica, you can eat shit. He's a total character and one of my favorite contractors I've worked with. The doctor is in. Please welcome Freddy.
Simsalabim.
Freddy, thank you for being here. First of all, let's start with the simple one. Do you believe in ghosts?
That's a hard-hitting one right off the bat, but I'll have to say, I haven't seen one, but I do believe that.
Well, you can't see ghosts. They're invisible.
Then I don't.
Hey, your accent. You from Louisiana?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Were you born and raised? Were you born in the Bronx?
Yeah. No, actually, I was born in Queens, moved to the Bronx at a very early age, the lovely Bronx. And yeah, can't watch this accent. That's it. Just can't, 30 years in California. Still got this accent.
Does it help business, your accent?
Oh, God, no.
Or does it hurt business?
You know what? I got to be honest with you. If I'm meeting someone from back east, they're like, hey, you're a New Yorker, everyone else, basically, I just try and tone it down as much as I can.
You don't tone it down at all.
Really?
Freddie, the very first time I met you, I was like, oh no, what did I get myself into? This guy is crazy. And first of all, let me say a few things about you. I'm a big fan of yours, but you're intense, you're a close talker, and I'm like, oh, this is my nightmare. Then quickly, I'm like, this is the greatest guy ever. I told my wife, I'm like, this guy's amazing. You know everything about what you're talking about. Like your job, you know the woods, you know everything about it. So I was like, well, he's smart and he knows what he's doing, on top of the fact that he is a maniac. And I loved it.
You didn't mention handsome at all.
No, you're not handsome at all. Freddie, those days have sailed. Are you a diehard Yankees fan?
Yeah.
What about the Mets? You like the Mets?
Mets suck. I'm a Yankee fan, and I love the Yankees, but I don't know. I have no real reason for loving the Yankees. Now, I think that it's only because I'm from the Bronx. We got the hell out of the Bronx
the best of the boroughs by far.
Yeah, well, what? The place is a piece of shit. So, I only associate the Bronx, I guess, with being a Yankee fan. So that might, now I'm thinking, is that the reason why I'm proud of being a Yankee fan? Is it a Bronx?
Did you study decking in college?
Decking in college? No.
How did you get into?
They don't offer that.
How in the world did you get into being literally the Deck Doctor?
Oh my God! You know what? My story is long and boring, but
I'll edit it.
I was I was a hyperactive kid, so I got the heck out of New York as soon as I thought I was capable of doing something. I was a musician. I always thought I was going to be an actor, but I got to be honest with you. Came out here, studied a little bit, played in some bands, late '80s, did all that stuff. Long hair.
What kind of music?
Sad to say, glam rock music.
No, not glam rock's wonderful.
Well,
it had its moment.
Look, I'll be honest with you. Again, I did it, wasn't that crazy about it, was in a couple of bands. All of a sudden, Guns N' Roses hit. Glam rock just went by the wayside.
Did you play on the strip? Did you ever play on the strip?
Played on the strip,
Nice.
Gazaris. Let me see. Really, the Rainbow, a couple of times at the Rainbow. But, that's it. Just,
Drugs?
Not many. It's
Good
funny.
for you.
And the funny thing was that I was working during the day as a carpenter to support my musical and acting lifestyle. I was studying with Susan Strasberg, a daughter of the father of method acting. I really thought I was going to get into it, but I had no money to survive, and I'm dead tired going to these classes at night. So I'm like, fuck this. I said, I'm going to just dig in. I'm going to do what I know how to do. And started some just small jobs here and there. That kind of led to a few other gigs with a few lesser known actors that I like doing it. I like being outside. That was pretty much it. And everyone that I hired.
You had no training?
Oh, no. I've been a carpenter. Oh, all right. You know what? You want to go back?
Yeah.
I'm 15 years old. I get arrested for running into a Crazy Eddie, which was basically an electronics store in New York. Famous electronics store, famous commercial, Crazy Eddie. Anyway, make a long story short, my friends dared me to run into Crazy Eddie. I steal something from Crazy Eddie. I run out, I jump into the car, they grab my shoe. 3 days later, the cops knock on my door. They're like, "Is this your shoe?" And I said, "Yeah." And you're under arrest. My parents.
Wait a second. You fell for that? You said yes?
I completely fell.
God, you thought it was the story of Cinderella.
I got to be honest.
Turns out you were going to the pokey.
I went to the pokey, and all right. You're gonna definitely you're gonna have to take this one out.
What are you buttoning up for?
Yeah, because
Freddie?
I'm a little chilly.
You're not chilly.
I'm nervous because now I'm about to tell you something.
All right, let me hear it.
My mother, I said, "Mom, it was a mistake. I didn't mean you." She said, "You're gonna get fucked in the ass."
Uh-huh.
And I said, "My God, Mom!" I started crying on the spot at 15 years old.
Sure.
That was it. From that moment on, I went to what they called a Board of Cooperative Educational Services program where they started to teach me carpentry. Next thing you know, I was out on a work program working for a contractor, taking English at night at high school. Next thing you know, I'm bailing on New York and heading to California in my early 20s. And that was how I got here. Yes, Santa Monica, Hollywood, trying to do a little acting, a little music. And then, yes, ended up just strapping on my tools and sticking with it. But have met a lot of wonderful, really cool people. And
all right, Freddie, I got to know, did you get fucked in the ass?
No. I'm waiting for that. I mean, figuratively, yes.
Yes.
But no.
No, good for you.
No.
Do like these celebrities try to tell you hey, don't ever use my name or don't ever say that you worked on my house?
All of them. Yeah. Look, I work. You're a heck of a celebrity. I mean, what I mean by that is, you seem to be a pretty straightforward guy. You're a family guy. I like your dog, your wife, your kids. Believe it or not, we have more in common than you would think.
I believe it.
But yeah, it's just something. Hey man, I have had people that I've been so uncomfortable working around that I just felt like, what the fuck am I doing? This celebrity shit. I don't even want to associate with these people. And they're basically my neighbors. But no, I'm not I'm trying to really sugarcoat this, but what happens, really what happens the most is that, and God bless Carly, man, because I've had wives of, let's just say, more prominent people, and the wives come out and they wield that shit. All right, I've been on a project. I'm not going to tell you who it was, but it was not far from here, and literally, I take off my shoes when I walk in your house. I take off my shoes.
I tell people not to take their shoes off.
There you go. Okay, and I take them off.
I don't want your shoes
Already
off.
it's
I'd
conflict.
rather your shoes than your socks on my floor.
Well, I got news for you. When I walk into people's houses, I take them off.
Okay,
all
fine.
Right?
You don't have to.
And I'm gonna say who it was, but she says, "You're bringing." I guess maybe people do bring in whatever with. She said, "Well, do you have something to cover the floor with?" I said, and I didn't want to say I just took off my shoes, but I said, "No problem." I went out and I got some of my drop cloths, right, which are marginally clean drop cloths, but they're drop cloths. I come back, all the drop cloths are shoved to the side, and they're brand new clean sheets on the floor.
Oh, that's
and
nice.
It was beautiful, but now I'm going to start walking on her
clean sheets.
Right? Hell yeah, I walked on her clean sheets.
Yeah, you did.
I brought the whole crew in. But now that being said, there I am, doing my best to respect their home and everything like that. And when I came back in, I saw the clean, all right, yeah, you made your point, So, yeah, so sometimes, it's just a matter of, how did I get into I'm not starstruck, but sometimes you get a, bring, like, okay. let me
Act cool. This is Mario
right,
Lopez.
That's another thing. All right. I cannot, no, not Mario Lopez. Or what I get a kick out of, because now that I watch the Tosh Show. I watch the Tosh Show.
It doesn't roll up. Have some water.
But now that I watch the Tosh Show.
Have a sip. You're going to love it.
There's actually liquid in here.
Please. I got to ask a question. You haven't let me talk in 20 minutes.
Oh, my God. That's lovely.
Let me ask some questions. Jesus.
Well,
how'd you come up with the Deck Doctor, huh? I'm surprised that wasn't taken.
Deck Doctor. They both roll off the tongue. But everybody who's ever built a deck is a deck doctor, all right? Every contractor they ever know, there's always decks on his resume, and a handful of them will call themselves, Joe Schmo contractor, a.k.a. deck doctor. So I've seen it over the years forever. When I try to get deckdoctor.com, deckdoctor.com has been gone for 35 years. There's some guy in Pennsylvania, deckdoctor.com. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to become Malibu Deck Doctor.
There you go.
I don't have to leave the neighborhood.
By the way, you've been doing that, building these decks for 30 years. Have you mess with porches at all? You fuck with porches or no?
You know what? Anything outdoor, man. Anything that has to do. I just want to stay outdoors. You got a pergola. You got a trellis. You got an arbor. You got anything you want to do outdoors. Pool deck, second story deck.
What about a stoop? You mess with stoops?
Stoops are normally, you associate them with concrete. So, if I had to, yeah, I've built wood decks over stoops.
You deal with concrete at all or no?
I mean, when I have to, I'm doing a job down the block from you right now, where I got to pour a concrete slab for a jacuzzi and, a little curb to hold a little bit of retaining wall issue.
City Hall. Does City Hall like you?
You know what? City Hall changes, a lot. I mean, back from when, believe it or not, when you dealt with them, several different inspectors, even since then, in the neighborhood. We got probably about 5 or 6 of them. I'm lucky because a deck that's below 30 inches technically doesn't need a permit.
Okay.
So flip side of that is any job that I do over $1,000, technically I'm supposed to permit. So, go figure.
You ever been red tagged?
No. I have been popped by an inspector that's come on my job and said, hey, you've been down to the city on this one? And I have to say, no, I'll be down there tomorrow. Good news is that I build to code, so I've never had any problem. But yeah, of course, I sidestepped the building department.
Please walk me through the process, time frame, and cost to build a moderately elaborate deck.
Your deck is about $150,000.
Whoa. By the way, is my deck bigger or smaller than Justin's?
Justin claims to have the largest deck.
He won't shut the fuck up about this.
Hey, look,
he keeps telling me. Let me tell you. Hold on.
Go ahead. No, please.
Justin, I don't know why. By the way, Justin has put a few people on this show. He introduced me to you, and he introduced me to Alligator Jesus. Anyway, Justin tells me he's this French guy that I can't interview him because he won't let me talk ever. He's basically like a Shark Tank guy. People ask him for money, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll give you money." That's all I've ever figured out with him. But I'm at his house, and I'm like, "This deck is beautiful." And he says, "You have got to meet Dr. Deck." And I said, "I'm like, your deck is beautiful." He goes, "Well, it's the largest deck in Malibu." I go, "Is it?" I go, "It doesn't seem like the largest deck. My deck seems almost as big as this, and I would never even think to consider my deck as the largest deck." Now, go on and tell me if Justin's deck is the largest deck in Malibu.
All right, look, I'm building a deck right now that's about almost 4,000 square feet. So Justin's, I got to admit, is a big deck, but it's broken up a little bit more. It's a pain in the ass to work on. He spent God knows how much on that beautiful Brazilian hardwood deck, and all you see is a billion screws in that thing. Forgive me, Justin.
He didn't plug them. He didn't have them plugged.
He didn't plug it, and, I put my foot in my mouth. I go, Justin, I go, don't worry, I'll come back, I'll do it for $15,000. Immediately, as soon as I said it, I said, no, what am I talking about? I can't afford to do that for Justin. I can't afford to do it for $15,000. But I will come back and take care of it for you, I promise. So yeah, as soon as that subject came up, Yeah.
I just a technical question for you.
Go ahead.
Sometimes my plugs start to are floating up. There's no way to tap those back
Try
in.
it. Give it a shot. If they don't go back in, it's probably because, yes. All right. You want to get technical?
Yeah, I like it. I love it when you get technical.
All right.
Talk about this wood.
This
Can you tell
wood, well, this looks like just a piece of oak, simple red oak that's been created into a table shape. But my point is that if you look at this grain, okay, the grain is heading in one direction. Technically, if I put my plug in with the grain in the same direction,
yes,
I shouldn't have a problem, okay? But when you're putting in 10,000 plugs, you're just putting them in. So when the plug swells, technically it's not swelling with the wood itself, so it'll want to pop. You've got an interesting deck because your deck is like a thermally treated hardwood that has been chemically treated as well as heat treated. So it
won't burn. I know that during the Wosley fire, it wouldn't burn.
Really, it's a very unique product. It's an expensive product.
You misread it at first. At first, you thought it was a redwood.
No, at first I thought it was an Ipe deck, and then I thought it was there's another product that's called Kebony. That's a very similar product. Okay. But regardless, yes, you're right. It sometimes these decks, they throw me a little bit, mainly to tell you the truth, because of the color. When you see a color that's not naturally in nature or that a tree doesn't have, and if you look at your deck, it's hard to describe that color. You can say, oh, it's mahogany, or it's oak, or it's teak, or it's brown. It's like just this kind of. Oh, it looks like it looks very durable. It looks durable. That's the color.
All right, give me a low end what somebody can spend on a deck and off the charts. What could they spend?
Off the charts. Honestly, right now in the last couple of years, I'm just finishing up $120,000 deck. That's about let's just say about the same size as your deck, but broken up into about 5 different decks on the property. That's about $130,000. That boils down to almost $50,000 in material right there. Our issue right now is fire code. Fire. Ipe, Brazilian hardwood, my specialty, is the only. I've been trying to get it mandated in Malibu for 15 years as the only wood to be used for decks. But yes, they're coming up with some of these thermally treated products that are capable of handling the embers and things like that. But again, the Garapa that I'm using right now in no way compares to an Ipe deck. So all these other decks that are in the area, when people want tone and color instead of just durability, well, yeah, they're getting a Class B, Class C fire rating. These things will go up like tinder. So
what did I do wrong to mine that you had to come in and fix because everybody's getting all dirty. Their socks were getting dirty if they walked on it. There's oil coming out of it constantly.
Yeah, your deck doesn't require oil because, again, oil is required to nurture the cellulose fibers in the wood, okay? You've got something that the fibers are petrified. They've heated this wood. They've gotten to a point where...
Why did they oil it? I didn't tell them to.
No, but... it's almost like as a matter of fact, deck's done, let's get some oil on it. Takes out some of the blemishes, and then they don't even know what to put on top of the product. So, yes, so it sits on top. Oil attracts dirt. It doesn't really want to dry because it's oil. It doesn't really evaporate.
You're telling me, though, the air, the
marine layer. Yeah, the acid
layer.
Rain, marine layer, crappy. Look, we... As wonderful as our neighborhood is, we do still have pollution in our area. And a deck is an outdoor floor that everyone beats the cowboy heck out of. Nobody cleans their deck except a handful of customers that I'll go and swab the decks on a monthly basis just to keep them clean.
How should you clean a deck?
Basically, you got to swab the deck with a little Epsom salt and water. That's the worst case scenario if you don't want to use a cleaner or a brightener, just a little bit of salt and water, because I don't like to use a lot of chemicals. I like everything that I use to break down into the environment as salts. So Epsom salt is like an old school method of scrubbing the deck with a little Epsom salt, wash it down. It's dirt free. Oil is the only thing that nurtures wood. So, yes, occasionally raw wood, redwood, Ipe, any wood that's raw, it's going to need a little bit of oil occasionally. In your case, you really don't. What you're just trying to do is waterproof it to maintain the stability of the cellulose fibers in the wood.
Rank these woods in terms of favorite when building a deck. Ipe, acacia, cedar, redwood, or hemper.
You're talking about almost 5 different families of wood. They're all so distinctly different. So hem fir, quickly. Framing lumber. That's a 2x4 you're building your house with. Cedar, not normally associated with decks anymore because it is a little bit soft. So cedar, you'll use it on siding. You'll use it on fence posts, things like that.
Do you build fences?
Yeah, I build fences.
Okay.
You go for beauty sometimes and grain, or ultimately, I'm just building for default, just the badass wood that most likely is going to survive through most fires. Not what we just recently had, but
You work with landscapers when you're building your decks?
I do. Yeah.
That seems like those things go pretty hand in
We
hand.
go hand
What
in
about
hand, but
lighting? That's the one thing I regret. I didn't do the right lighting on my deck.
Nobody does. Nobody. And every time I do a deck, I always tell my customers, let's think big. Let's think big, and then we can back off based
That's
on
what
budget.
I should have talked to you, Freddie, because I should have wired for lighting everywhere on my deck, and I didn't.
Now you do have an opportunity with solar to do some nice stuff that you don't have to do a lot of hard wiring for, but the solar's so unpredictable
And the
that
light
the
looks
hard
different.
wiring.
The
It's
light-
hardwired. Yeah, lighting, exterior lighting is the way to
Power
go.
washing. Should I be ever power washing my deck, or should I stay away from it?
I'm due to power wash your deck in about another year from now.
What's the hardest part of building a deck?
It's really not a difficult thing. What's difficult for me is maintaining the highest quality control I can with guys that I hire.
Now, a lot of people that might look at California from afar might just think these are day players from Home Depot, but these guys really are masters of their craft.
I got to be honest with you. You can get some quality at a Home Depot.
Okay.
All right. Now, that being said, if you're a homeowner and you go to Home Depot, the first thing they're going to say is, okay, let me take a... Oh, I forgot.
You can't do the accent.
I can't do the
Freddie?
accent.
Jesus. Okay, I
They're
understand.
going to say, okay, may I see the job and I will quote it for you after I see it. And you're like, you need to see the job? You can't tell me how much it's going to cost to work for 3 or 4... No. So what I'm saying is the whole negotiation thing has become part of the routine now. Even if I pull up, believe me, I pull up a lot. And I see guys that I've known, they've been there for years. But the first thing that happens is they're all going to crowd my truck. And then, I got to hand pick 1 or 2. But I'll always just say, I weed them out immediately. I go, who speaks English?
No, you can't say that because they
No,
know that question.
They do.
And they just say yes.
Well,
You got to have a trickier question.
You're right. But that does break the ice. And usually there's usually a leader, as you know. There's one who will speak for everyone. That's the guy who I say, okay. Any of them work with tools, And that's usually not important because I just need them to dig a hole or sand or something like that. But I'm trying to somehow vet these guys. Which
Sure.
is,
It's like a dating game.
Right, exactly. Because, next thing you know, they're going to be in my truck with whatever cologne they're wearing. That's what I got to deal with. But that being said, all right, these guys,
You love
truthfully,
cologne.
oh, man, I'm wearing a little bit of my,
You were working on a deck of a house while a porn was being filmed.
yes.
Okay. First of all, are you sure you were not in that porn? Have you watched that porn like you're in the background sanding or something, like an extra?
Look, I got to be honest with you. I'm known as the Hammer, but that's...
Who calls you the Hammer?
Nobody calls me the Hammer. The point that I'm trying to make is that, yes, they actually were out on the deck.
They
and
had
they're kind of
cameras?
wandering out. Not cameras, but...
Well, that's not a porn. That's just people having sex.
No. They were definitely filming inside, but,
Okay.
the actors were coming out on the deck to have cigarettes.
Yeah.
And this was the section of the deck that I had completed, and I'm on the other section. It was an interesting moment.
Your guys loved you that
my
day.
guys loved me that day. And the funny thing was, the greatest part of the day was that they asked us if we needed anything, So it's like sometimes when a client asks you if you need anything, normally, we say, no, we're good. I tell my guys, we don't go in houses, we don't use the bathroom. But
Where do you go to the bathroom when you're building these decks then?
that's kind of tough because a lot of times, we'll take a break. The guys have cars. We'll take a break for lunch. The guys will go. But no, we got occasionally you got to sneak one off, in the back.
I always tell
I
people-
didn't pee in your yard.
That's fine, but I always tell people that they can use the Airstream is unlocked and there's a bathroom in there. So I always tell people to go in there.
I would never use the Airstream.
Well, I tell them to use the Airstream. No, I'd rather that than pee in my yard.
You know what? And
When
that's
kid
true.
comes around and then sees
true.
some big
No,
old
you're
hog.
right.
He's like, how come yours looks so much bigger than my dad's? I don't want to have that conversation. People may be surprised to know that you're 45 years old.
As of last week, thank you very much.
How old are you, Freddy?
Oh my God, I'm 63. I'm gonna be 64 years old.
You're 63. You're almost 64. By the way, you're physically. How are you doing physically? Are you still in pain? Where are you at? Where's the pain level?
I swear to you, I am not in an ounce of pain right now, but apparently I've got degenerative discs, I've got osteoarthritis, I've got a bunch of stuff happening like right in my core that keeps me in a bathtub quite a bit. But
How often are you taking baths? Every day?
yeah, I probably spend at least 2 hours a day in the tub.
What?
Yeah.
2 hours a day in the tub?
Hour in the morning when I get up, 4:30 in the morning, I am in the tub because look, I sleep with a vibrator, okay?
Ugh. Where?
I sleep with a vibrator, man. I am literally up 3 times a night, and I'm making this move because that's the area.
Okay, it's in your back.
Right in my lower back, right? Yeah, I mean, and I am literally, I probably get 2 or 3 solid hours of sleep a night. Once I'm up and moving, I feel pretty good.
What do you love most about living in Southern California?
Oh, there's no place I'd rather live than where I live right now. The best thing about it, it's easy to say the weather. There's very few places I really enjoy going. We go to Mexico a lot, but...
Your daughter wanted me to bring up the fact that you got busted in Mexico with her when she was a young child.
Oh, my God. All right. Real quick. All right. Take the kid to Isla Mujeres. All right. Tiny little island off of Cancun. All they have is golf carts there. So you rent a golf cart and you cruise around the island. So I got my 8-year-old with me. I think she's 8, 9 years old. And to make a long story short, what better time to teach a kid how to drive?
Sure, driving a golf cart, it's not the same rules. It's
right?
Mexico, whatever.
Mexico, roads are empty. Throw in the driver's seat. She's doing a great job. I don't know where this cop came from, but we get pulled over by
Is he in a golf cart too?
No, he's in a pickup truck.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying. I had no idea where he came from.
Okay.
I mean, literally, I say, sweetheart, just keep driving. Just,
What, you trying to outrun him?
No, I just thought maybe she'd pull it off. Like, just if she looked, like she meant.
Yeah, like a 9-year-old.
Exactly. So he pulls out and he stays behind us. And I'm like, all right, just keep driving, right? So then he pulls up alongside of us and we're like, all right, we don't want him to ram us. I said, pull over here. She pulls over.
Shoots the tires out.
Right, exactly. I'm like, okay, he's getting serious. Pulls up, comes over, right? So I'm trying to think quick. I grab my leg and I put it up on the golf course. I'm seeing her holding my leg.
Oh, you're faking an injury.
Faking an injury, right?
Oh,
Just
man.
on the fly.
How's your Spanish, by the way?
My Spanish sucks, but enough to have him guide us to a hospital. And when I say guide us, I mean Sarah's still driving.
Oh, man. So you're going to fake it all the way to the hospital.
So we fake it all the way. I'm like, I'm like, okay. Pull into a hospital. He literally pulls into a hospital. I get out. I limp into that. Got a plate all the way through. I limp into the hospital. I'm sitting there. I'm in the waiting room. And they're like, Señor, ¿qué es su problema? What is the problem? What is your problem? This was after about 3 or 4 times when they were being
police left? Are they still?
No, they're in the parking lot. So I'm sitting there going, okay, do I check in? So I reach in my pocket. I'm looking. I got about probably 2,500 pesos. I don't know, it's a couple $100. Give it to Sarah. I said, get out there. Just give it to the cop. Just go give it to him. Say, thank you. My father's going to be fine. Thank you. I said, hug him if you have to. So she goes out.
So you had an 8-year-old go out there with a lot of cash.
Goes out,
go
greases
him.
Policia.
This is the way it's done. Literally watched him. He took the money from her like, he had no qualms about it. Took the money, literally looked at it, flipped it over, put it in his pocket, got on his pickup truck, drove away.
And her life of crime began.
Senor, what's the problem? I'm like, guys, literally, at that moment, she started walking back the door. He left, made the right hand turn, boom, out of there. Jumped right back into the golf cart, other direction.
Did she drive?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
How exhausting is it having a kid that's involved in so many activities?
I'd be a multi-millionaire at this point had I not sacrificed all the time that I took with that kid. All right? So that's all I'm going to say.
Okay. Your daughter's graduating soon, too. She's a hockey prodigy.
We
By the way,
can't.
she's a hockey prodigy. That is probably the most expensive sport.
Thank you. Like I said,
There's so much
I
stuff.
would be a multi.
I remember as a kid in St. Louis, my dad loved the blues, loved the St. Louis blues so much. And I was like, should I get into
Red
hockey?
hole, baby.
And he's like, you don't want to. They basically said, you don't want to get into hockey because because they knew how expensive it was, and they just didn't want me to play because it was so
Everything
expensive.
I did with my kid from the age of 2 years old, they said she's got to do it. I got pictures of her running, 5 years old, medals for running. I took her to swim class, Lenny Kraselberg swim class. She was already completed the whole program by 7. I took her to the gymnastics place over in Agora Hills over there, right? The lady comes up to me, Russia, you must train your daughter with us every day. I'm like, what? She's going to be the Olympian. I'm like, no. Literally everything the kid could touch, she could do.
Okay, so she's a hockey prodigy. She's not interested in playing college or beyond. Is that because nobody cares about hockey outside Canada and the Northeast?
No, it's because obviously, what future does a woman have playing hockey? And even if it gets you into a school, the school is so determined to win that you're training on the ice. You're spending 2 hours a day in class. My kid happens to also be a singer and
She's a singer.
songwriter.
She's a
She's
musical.
also a
Okay.
captain of her debate team.
That brings me to this point.
Go ahead.
Why doesn't she just not go to college and go straight to Disney on Ice? Singing and ice skating. Boom, I solved all your problems.
From your lips to God's ears.
Everybody that's on the show gets gifts. I just find stuff around my house and I give it to you. You ever get splinters working on decks?
Yeah.
Yeah. My wife has drawing salve. And I'm like, what? It's like, who uses drawing salve? She goes, oh, it's good for you. And I'm like, and it leaves this like black tar stuff on you. I'm like, I've never heard of drawing salve until I met my wife. And then she's always got a tube of it. And I'm like, I'm not putting this stuff on our kids. I don't even know what it's for. Anyway, I'm going to give you some drawing salve. Okay? I'm going to also give you all of these, because of your back, all of these hot packs and cold packs.
Itch.
I got a bunch of hot and cold packs for you to break open for your back. I need you, you stick when you're driving, you keep these in your car, you pop one, you stick it on your back, it's going to make you feel good. Don't do it now.
I can't?
No. I have extra doormats. I figured you of all people need some extra. These are brand new, never been used. These are good. I don't know what is this, Chillowitch? Send me more of these, Chillowitch. I like these. That way you bring these to next time you have some hoity-toity person, say, I bring my own mats to my gig. This is so you don't walk on people's deck. I don't know why I have these stilts. Okay? But I think you need a pair of stilts to walk around. These are nice. They're retractable, so we'll get them to your height.
I am going to send you a photo of me on these
Don't break
on
our
my
lights.
deck. No.
That'd be nice. You give those away or do whatever you want.
Definitely a functional gift. I think that.
Those are not functional.
Well, look, I appreciate it. I
Thanks.
just
Get
wondering
that
what
out
is
there.
the
Don't worry
what's
about
the
that.
warranty on this?
No, those things are from Amazon. They have to be quality. Here, get these floor mats on the floor. Don't worry about the drawing salve. Put the drawing salve on the floor, Freddie.
It's just like Christmas. This is more than I got.
But you're gonna love it. It's good stuff here. You've been doing this line of work for over 3 decades. In that time, have you experienced deck building becoming increasingly complex?
That is the most boring question that's ever been asked.
Freddie, I won't ask you. You ever fuck with any of those composite materials or fabricated
Did
woods?
you ever fucked any of your customers?
Have you ever had sex with any of your customers?
That's a good question.
That's a good
Great
question.
All right.
question.
Have you?
You want to get into it a little bit?
No. Unless you want to tell me. Do I know them? They in my neighborhood?
I built my wife's deck.
Before she was your wife?
No.
That's not true.
I'm just trying to find. I have a couple of questions for you.
Oh, Jesus. It's
All
going to
right.
take you 10 hours to figure out how to use your own phone.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm a little inept. All right. No, continue, please. Continue with your line of questioning. How the hell did I lose my...
Is Justin's the biggest deck in Malibu? Yes or no?
I'm pretty convinced I'm building a larger deck than he has now, but I'll tell you what, let's let him live with that because, he's got such little in his life that he should...
Make sure that stays in the show. That's too funny.
Justin, I'm sorry, man. I love you. And forgive me for not recognizing you at Trancas Market. I kind of knew it was you. But you're driving that Bronco, that retro Bronco.
No, it's not. It's a Blazer. It's not a Bronco.
Blazer.
He mocks me because I have a retro Bronco.
You got the retro Bronco. Everyone needs retro.
You think you can build a dock?
Of course.
In the middle of the night, one night?
In the middle of the night.
In Tahoe? I got to do it illegally.
Oh, yeah. I did it in Malibu Lake, but you know what? We can try and pull that off. Why not? Yeah. Shit. I'll bring a crew over there.
A crew? You got too many people.
We'll keep it quiet.
No. You got to knock it out in the winter, in the middle of the night. You get a long night.
That sounds like fun, though.
What are you playing? Are you playing Candy Crush over there? What the fuck are you doing?
No, I just fucking can't. I swear to God. Oh, there it is. Frederick Carrion. Thank you. All right, let me see if there's something here that I'd like to talk to Daniel about. Oh, my God.
What's going on?
Got a whole bunch of... All right, here we go.
Freddy's going to interview me now.
So you say you like chewy cookies. You know what? I don't like chewy cookies. I make cookies. I mean, it's all right. Peter's going to get some. If you're lucky enough, you'll get some. You'll probably complain that they're not chewy. Let's see.
Are they crunchy?
No. It's a cranberry chocolate chip.
All right.
But the cranberry, it's a little cranberry with the chocolate chip and the walnut.
Oh, fuck off. I don't want any of it. Go.
It's my cranberry chocolate chip walnut cookie.
I'll take a bite.
Very special. You'd love it. Did you ever take that Porsche driving course?
No.
Down off the 405?
Uh-uh.
Waste of time. You want to have fun? You go to Fontana and you get in one of those, literally, they got the NASCAR cars on a half-mile track. Crazy. Again, for that experience. I just couldn't, sometimes I'm listening to, some of your guests make me nuts.
You're listening to my podcast and then you're taking notes.
Taking notes.
Telling me this is what I would have said in this particular moment.
Eddie, you weren't at the Heart concert last week, were you?
No, I wasn't there.
Okay, and then I swear I saw somebody that looked just like Eddie.
Did he have a crown on?
He had a hat on, and I was trying to get him to take it off to see if he had a crown underneath it. Nothing there.
The King of Hearts.
All right.
No. Okay. I think we hit all the big ones.
Yeah,
I got so
Freddy,
much.
put your phone down.
I got one more question I'm looking for. Hold on a second. Oh, I have a Tosh impersonation.
Okay, get the phone off my desk.
All right. If I had my glasses, it would be something like this. Ah. That's it. You ever see him when he this guy goes, oh.
I do that.
What a waste of time this was for you guys.
No, you're the best.
Jesus.
Thank you for helping.
Tosh Show.
There's no better time than this summer to get out and enjoy some live events. For example, I can't wait to go on all the dates on my Midwest tour in June. Now, I won't need a ticket because I'm performing, but you will, which means that you should check out SeatGeek. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are more than 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, including concerts, sports, festivals, and farmers markets. I'm kidding about the farmers markets. Anyway, SeatGeek has your back. Each ticket is rated on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know when you're getting a good deal. Plus, every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. And I came through for you guys. You can use code TOSH10 for 10% off your next set of tickets at SeatGeek. That's 10% off tickets with promo code TOSH10. Make sure you click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account so you can use it later. Thank you, SeatGeek.
Tosh Show.
I want to thank Freddy for being on the show. I'm going to be honest with you. Freddy might be one of my favorite guests. I mean, complete maniac. I also need him to come back to my house right now. Now, am I looking for a deal? No. Freddy's got a family to support. I respect that. He charges me an honest rate. But I would like my deck cleaned. Did you hear this, Carl? Freddy already used the stilts that we gave him. I thought there's no way in hell that man was going to get on those stilts without dying. Sure as shit, he did it.
That's great.
On a brand new deck, too.
Wow.
Yeah, a madman. All right, we got some plugs. toshshowstore.com. Get your sweet merch. You got Eddie's tour. You got my tour. Where am I going? I'm going to Vegas. I'm doing the Midwest in June. And then we've got new dates being announced. Where? San Francisco, the Bay Area, Central California, the Monterey, the Big Little Lies area. What's that? Carmel. What else is in there? Santa Cruz. That's fun. I love doing a show in Santa Cruz. What a cute town. All right, you're asleep. Let's do the free plug. Hit the music. Oh, that'll wake you up. The sweet sounds of the cello.
Love a cello.
I love a cello too. My mom played the cello. I don't know if that's true. Did she play the cello or did she play the clarinet?
Very different.
Yeah, they're different.
She didn't play the cello. She played the clarinet. Now I gotta ask her.
I love it. Let's find out.
What did she play?
Hey, Daniel.
Hey, Margot, what instrument did you play growing up?
Wow. Piano, trumpet, French horn. French horn for about the last 6 years, from junior high to high school, yeah.
All right, that's what you never played the cello?
No, never played it.
What about the clarinet?
No, Carol played the clarinet.
Ah.
Joyce. My two sisters did, but I never did.
All right. That's all I need. I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.
French horn.
I didn't see the French horn.
No.
I didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
Played a lot of instruments.
that's the coolest.
All right, let's do this free plug. This free plug is for a couple of witches who run the Green Witch Apothecary located in New Braunfels, Texas. New Braunfels, Texas. An apothecary. The Green Witch, huh? Well, that's who should run an apothecary.
Yeah.
Witches. They specialize in artisan-made, herbalist-formulated organic skincare products. What is it? Medicinal salves, herbal teas, and remedies, always in small batches and brews. You leave a bad review online, they'll cast a spell making you grow a tail. Oh, that seems awful. Are they? They're not. They can't use their powers like that, can they? They're just business women. Oh, Eddie here gets his beard oil from them, or beard balm, whatever. Oh, this is. Are you just looking to get free beard balm out of this?
Yeah, stuff lasts a long time. It would be a weird long.
Yeah, what a great way to save $12, Eddie, making me plug this goddamn witch business. Look at that. The beard balm run up to $16. The oil's $16. You get the oil or the whatever, the balm.
I get both.
Oh, you get both. Okay, that's some money. All right.
Oil's for the skin, balm's for the beard.
All right. They have anti-aging creams, wellness tonics. They're witches. They probably can whip up anything if you ask them. Free shipping with orders over $100. Holy shit. You got to really spend to get some free shipping.
Good deal.
That's a bad deal.
Oh, it's a bad deal.
Or you can, if you live near New Braunfels, you can pick up your order from their front porch or one of their area market events they attend each weekend in the Texas Hill country. What? Where's the Texas Hill country?
That's New Braunfels, everything north of Austin.
Oh, this is near Austin. Oh, this is nothing but hipster heaven here. All right. Well, head on over to greenwitchapothecary.com. That's good that they got that. See you next week.
Tosh Show. Tosh Show. Tosh Show for show.